We manage YouTube channels for dozens of 7-8-figure business owners. One of our success stories is we grew a channel that was stuck at 16,000 subscribers for over 12 years, all the way up to 65,000 subscribers in less than a year. And it's all through the system I'm gonna be showing you. The good news is, even if you're a solo creator or you're a part of a team or you're building a team out, this will work for you. Hey, I'm Milan Smets. I am the co-founder of Playstack. And in my first year of engineering, we were taught that a good engineer is a lazy engineer. Now, let me explain that. A lazy engineer will find the easiest, the most automated system so that the problem can be solved. With that mindset, I dove into this. I've been a creator for 8 years. I've been running an agency for 4. Now we have a 20-man people team. And so managing hundreds of videos a month, dozens of channels, I had to find the best ways possible to make everything go as smooth as possible, especially in the creative field. Because if creative people need to make many decisions, all their creative juices are basically gone. And I want to capture the essence of their creativity, like what they are best at, by eliminating all the decision fatigue around it and get the best results possible. I'm gonna dive deep into all our roles, what their tasks are, what their responsibilities are, and the systems we used, the templates, the libraries of guides that we made to get the best results possible without burning out. And this is like a key factor, without burning out. I found a balance between how much a person can do, but how much a person can do effectively at the best results possible. So let's get into it. And the first role is the channel manager. This is probably the most essential role of all. I see it as the glue between the client and the operations team. I also had the choice to choose if the channel manager is a strategist separately or an account manager, but I combined the two for less friction within the business and within the whole process. A lot of these roles can be split up or merged depending on the size of your team. So if you're a bigger team and you have the resources and you wanna optimize everything, it's probably better that you split that up if you manage one channel. If you're like an agency like us, you might have to combine certain things because more people means more communication and more things that can go wrong. So the channel manager develops the strategy of the channel. First, we do a lot of research, like a market analysis. We do a channel audit if there's an existing channel. And so they're gonna look at the gaps in the market. And this is one of the most important tasks to do. For the rest, they oversee quality control over the whole process, except for what the creative director does. The channel manager is like the final quality control on top of everything. And as mentioned before, they manage the communication between the client and the team. We use one person on the client side, one person on our side. So there's one channel communication and everything is as clear as possible. Because there's so much to do for the channel manager, the number one thing that I did to increase productivity is creating SOPs and systemizing everything. On top of that, we also use Notion. We're in the process of changing everything to Asana as well. So having a good production system or tool like Notion or Asana or whatever, like Trello is a good free one as well, where you can drag everything through a process so everything is as clear as possible. We know people that have run their own team and they do 3 videos a week and there's always 100 videos in the pipeline. So a good overview is very important. As mentioned in previous videos, the idea is most important in a video. That will make or break your video, absolutely. If you have a bad idea and the rest is good, your video will still tank, most likely. To systemize this and make it as easy as possible on the strategist so they don't have to come up with new ideas all the time, we created this YouTube idea bank. And what this is basically a list of videos that have proven to work. Could be styles of videos, could be topics on videos, could be the thumbnail that worked or the idea that worked, the hook that worked. And so we work around that. So this is the YouTube video library. As you can see, we have the outlier score that is done by ViewStats Pro, and that shows you how much better a video is on a channel. Then we categorize it per niche, the topics or the titles of the headline, why we liked it so much. So often it's video idea, could be the thumbnail, and we add the thumbnail here as well. So we have this idea bank, and the thumbnail is also important for the briefs we'll do for the thumbnail designer. Now, we're not copying these ideas necessarily, but we'll go into this. We'll look at a style that works. We'll look at what structures work for a video or what hooks work, and then we have to do less thinking. And so that is the system that we implemented. The systems for the channel manager are combined with data-driven and just proven SOPs so that anything they do, they don't need to think as much. They can just look at the SOP or they can look at what's the next step so that they can do it faster, but also without using as much energy or brain power, creative power. The next role that I implemented is the creative director. We did that for an agency because we cover so much content. I was personally quality controlling dozens of videos a week because my background is in video editing. I've been filming forever. As an agency owner, I shouldn't be in the business. So I hired a creative director. It was actually a video editor that I promoted to creative director. And what she does is she goes through all the videos. She makes sure that the brand creative brief is followed. She's also the one that will make the creative brief for each client so that there is consistency across multiple editors, because often multiple editors work on the same channel and we want consistency no matter who we're working with. That person is like the creative juice for the whole strategy for the videos and stuff like that. So where the channel manager does the overall strategy, the creative director goes into more detail. You could say they turn the strategy into actionable steps. They also train our editors. Like, we're always looking for more editors because we're growing. Half of our team are editors, either contractors or in-house. And so she trains them up. She makes sure that the quality is consistent. One of the main things that I systemized with this is together with the video editors to maintain that creative process. We created this creative editing brief. And instead of having a linear approach to editing a video where you start in the beginning, you make everything good and you go further down the video, the approach will be layered. And even before that, the creative director will receive the script. Often they're also very involved in the script writing. Then they go over the script and they start adding notes to everything in the script, like details of like, I want an animation like this, moving like this. This is the kind of B-roll that I want, according to the creative brand guidelines, of course. One reason that I did that is it's because way harder to find creative people that are also really good at video editing. And so by splitting up the creative and the technical side of things, I can hire just a bunch of technical people and I only have to hire a few creative people. And so they can then add their creative ideas and bring it to the technical people and they just have to execute. That's the system around it. I'll show you what I mean with the creative brief. So we're going from a linear to a vertical, and the first step is really like visualizing the edit. From there we work on pacing, so we're adding B-roll or like placeholders to get the pace right. We do that together with music and everything. And then we go step by step. We add the B-roll, the cutaways, we add the music, we add the sound effects. And so you build like the foundation of a city, and then you build all of them together rather than one building at a time, basically. So this pre-editing phase is really important. And usually when a video editor does this and they have to do all the creative stuff, they are probably drained from just all the creative ideas they have to come up with. And so the execution is like poorly done. That's why we split that role up. Now, if you're a solo creator, just keep in mind how this system goes. And usually when I create videos like this one now, I write my own script and I put my own ideas into this video. I don't do everything at once. I split it up. Like one day I write, or the first before that I do research, then I write, then I come up with the creative ideas, then I film it. The more people you have in your team, you can split this up. If you're the main person, you probably want to be the creative director to keep that consistency and to visualize your vision. To roll over to the next role is the video editor. And I kind of already explained it. Like the way I split up creative and technical is so that I can just hire really good technical people that have the vision to execute. And it's way easier to find people like that. Like we could put an application out for video editors for a contractor, for example. 100 people apply, maybe 20 people get a test edit and only 2 people deliver. 1 is really bad. And then we can maybe hire 1. So it's like 1% that we are able to hire, of course, within the budgets that we work with, and makes it so much tougher to find a combined creative. Now, if you want to manage less people, video editor could be your creative director as well. So their main tasks and responsibilities are to follow the creative direction, to execute accordingly, and make sure that the creative director and the channel manager don't have to provide as much feedback as possible, because this is another tip for people that are growing a team. If your video editor is making many mistakes, but they are cheaper, you hire them because they're cheaper, they take away more time from you because you'll have to do more revisions. And then you have to think like, I hired someone to free up my time, because a video editor is probably what you will be hiring first, right? Because it's the most time consuming. But if you're gonna be reviewing like 6 times, then you might as well do it yourself. So find a balance between budget and how much time they take up. The more you pay, the more creative freedom you can give them if you're in a smaller team, not what we do at an agency. Moving on to the thumbnail designer. Currently we work with contractors. For us, way easier, because with contractors, they have more sense of urgency to do things. It's very similar process between the creative director and the editors, but between the channel manager and the thumbnail designer. Now, if you're, again, a smaller team or a solo creator, that channel manager could be your thumbnail designer, because the idea of what the thumbnail should be is way more important than the execution of that thumbnail, right? It comes back to like the idea of your video is way more important than the execution of that video. And so in the beginning, you can do your own thumbnails or whatever it is. Now, it's also one of the cheaper things to outsource. So like on Fiverr for $15, you can find someone to do that. The channel manager will create a brief based on the YouTube channel or the YouTube idea bank, or they do their own research, comparing other channels, comparing other videos, and then provide the brief to the thumbnail designer. You can pay more for a thumbnail designer and they can create their own briefs and their own ideas. So there's always a balance. We are an agency again, so we find a really good balance between budget and tasks, because we all do repetitive tasks. On a side note, here's a big tip on if you're doing your thumbnails alone. Less is more, right? The idea is most important, but don't fill up your thumbnails with everything. Just 3 to 5 words, a subject, an object, and a background. Nothing more. Keep it as simple as possible. Let the thumbnail create curiosity and scroll stop for people. That is the main task. Now, going into our final role, which is scriptwriter, it actually has recently changed a lot how we do things. For the scriptwriters or the creatives listening, they're not gonna like to hear this, but we are using a lot of AI, but also a lot of systems. Now, hear me out, please. Scriptwriting is probably one of the hardest things to maintain consistency in. We know it very well, because if we work with one client, it could be easier than someone else, because it's so hard to bring that voice out if you're not the person creating for yourself. So finding that voice and that authenticity in the video is so important. We created, again, systems around this, but we created a whole prompt library to go along. So we're not like going into Claude. We're using Claude currently because it's by far better than ChatGPT. We're not asking it to create a script from A to Z. You need to provide as much context as possible. We're going through this step by step. We start with the idea, then we start with the structure of the video. We're trying different hooks depending on the audience. There's actually another video I'm recording after. The prompts will help and guide the person, the creative, working on the script. Now, this could be a script writer because they understand how a script should look like, but we have like a basic template of a script, how it should look like: hook, intro, credibility, curiosity gap, meat, call to action. That's like the minimum. Now we're experimenting with the creative director taking this role because they have that creative touch and they can follow the brand guidelines accordingly. To be able to implement the client's voice, we always try to ask as much context as possible of the content itself, but also about who the person is, so we can put as much personality in there, like anecdotes or case studies or testimonials or results of what they achieved or whatever it is, because we do educational content mainly. We have this whole prompt library to get you through everything. This is perfect for a solo creator or a small team to keep consistency and to get through everything very efficiently, because script writing is so hard, and if it doesn't match the style of the presenter, it makes it so hard. So it's key that you understand what a good script looks like, because the AI won't give you the final result. You'll always have to go into it and write your own stuff and go through all the content itself, because it's probably not in your voice or in the client's voice. Here, like, different for title formulas, script development, thumbnail design. So we have prompts for everything, but for the script, we go through different steps, right? Like I said, I'm not asking it to go from A to Z, but we go step by step. We create a structure and then we start filling it in. We ask it to come up with multiple options, and how to deliver it. Also, a lot depends on who the audience is. Is it a warm audience? Is it a cold audience? Probably if you're listening, this is for a cold audience, but I'm going very like into the meat. I'm not expecting this video to go viral, right? So I can share this as well. I know this is a very long video, so if you made it all the way here, thank you so much. I'm gonna give you this extra bonus for that, or this mindset shift. When I'm trying to systemize creativity, what I'm trying to achieve is for the person to put as much energy and creative thinking into that creative process without getting overwhelmed or without getting burned out with all the technical things and with all the other decisions that need to be made. And so if you're just starting out, or you're a solo creator or a small team, or whatever it is, to get the best results possible, I always say that you need to be consistent. So start with the minimal viable video. Like, what is the minimum I can do to achieve success? And then how can I do that consistently over and over? And by implementing these systems, you will make sure that all your creative thinking is in there without having to burn out. So hope this helped you a little bit. If you want to use these systems earlier, I write about this weekly in my newsletter, where I can also link all the libraries and all the templates. So sign up for that one. We've achieved massive results with our own clients, but also the community we're teaching. We have a group coaching session every week. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check out our website. And if you're more interested in systems and how to grow your YouTube channel, go check out this video.